The use and proliferation of nuclear weapons is a detestable artifact of human beings' seemingly ineradicable desire to dominate other human beings. Nuclear weapons, perhaps more than any other man-made thing, represent that uneasy dichotomy between the brilliant scientific creativity of a technological achievement and the consequences of its function. It's a tension that's been explored by so many thinkers and moralists, even by some of the scientists who worked themselves on the famous or infamous Manhattan Project.
Only reaction I remember, perhaps I was blinded by my own reaction, was a very considerable elation and excitement. And there was kind of parties and people got drunk, and it would make a tremendously interesting contrast of what was going on in Los Alamos at the same time as what was going on in Hiroshima.
Nuclear weapons have been tested over 2,000 times since Little Boy and Fat Man were dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. For tests and demonstrations, for civil engineering purposes, moving land, creating artificial bays, things like that. There was even an extended US military operation called Operation Plowshare, started in 1958 at the height of the atomic age, which aimed to exploit the, quote, friendly atom. Plowshare saw the explosion of 35 nuclear bombs until public outcry shut the program down in 1975. The nuclear industry wanted to desensitize the public to the negative connotations associated with nuclear weapons. But the problem was that those negative connotations were present in every step of the program. Project Gnome vented radioactive steam over the very press gallery that was called to confirm its safety. The next blast, a 104 kiloton detonation at Yucca Flat, Nevada, displaced 12 million tons of soil and resulted in a radioactive dust cloud that rose 12,000 feet and plumed toward the Mississippi River. You can read all about Operation Plowshare in the Department of Energy's executive summary of the program, which I'll put in the description below. Even now, they seem to talk about it with a kind of what could have been disappointment. Plowshare and the hundreds of other nuclear tests that have been done since its termination deal in the super violent production of fundamental particles that have a real, almost unbelievable impact on environmental makeup. Indeed, the creation of new chemical elements like einsteinium and fermium were the result of the first thermonuclear explosion, codenamed Ivy Mike, in 1952. Nuclear blasts create so much change in the environment that their fingerprint can be felt in fields on the opposite end of the academic spectrum. In 2008, it occurred to Russian avant-garde painting expert Elena Bassner, then curator of the Russian Museum in St. Petersburg, inundated with a booming forgery market, that if scientists chemically tested the paint in suspicious canvases, they might find something in its makeup which dated the pieces more accurately than other methods. Using a mass spectrometer, Bassner and some artistically minded scientists were able to see that two isotopes, cesium-137 and strontium-90, appeared in greater concentration in canvases from after 1945, when the first nuclear weapons were detonated. These radioactive fission products are ejected from nuclear blasts into the atmosphere and absorbed into Earth's soil and then Earth's plant life, namely flax plants, from which we get flaxseed oil or linseed oil, a major bonding agent in oil paints. This fills me with such an odd feeling. Almost all post-1945 oil paintings contain a fingerprint of nuclear weapons. Remember that next time you go to your local gallery, or if ever you lose faith in the ironic interconnectedness of all things. That within our most refined creative impulse lurks traces of our equally refined, exact opposite impulse for destruction. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. There are so many tangents I could have gone down with this video, and I wanted to, I just didn't want to make it too long. But I put a lot of the links and sources in the description under Works Cited, so you can read for yourself some of the cool stuff about Operation Plowshare, about nuclear weapons, fission products, art forgeries. There's a lot of cool things. Thank you to everybody who followed me on Tumblr, and used the Ask Me Anything feature to have some discussions about some cool stuff, about this video, about other videos. I encourage you to keep doing that. Tumblr is really cool for doing sort of longer discussions about things. And I'll see you next week.